Wind's in the east, there's a mist coming in, like something is brewing and about to begin. Can't put me finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen all happened before. A father, a mother, a daughter, a son, the threads of their lives are all raveling undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as the strings you might use when you're flying a kite. Chim chimney, chim chim, chiree, chim charoo.
Hurry up, Jane, what's wrong? Come back here, you little blighters. You've got to do your lessons. I can't do my lessons if I'm flying a kite. And you can't make us. You're only our nanny. Ow, hat!
Oh, not you two again. Come on, come here.
Good morning, Bird.
Morning, Miss Lark. And how's little Willoughby today?
Oh, very well, thank you, Bird.
By Jove, is that the beauteous Miss Lark I spy on the horizon?
Oh, Admiral.
Morning, Admiral. How's it looking?
Ah, dark clouds gathering number 17. Storms warning overdue.
Of all London's byways where I doff me cap, this one's the hardest to find on a map. Cherry Tree Lane, as sweet as a song, but the nannies who come here, they don't stay for long. Chim chimney, chim chim, chiree, chim charoo.
Katie Nana, Katie Nana!
Those little beasts have run away from me for the last time.
And who got stuck with the children with no nanny in the house? Me, that's who.
I've said my say, and that's all I'll say. I'm done with this house, forever.
Well, good riddance then. Mind you don't stumble on your way out.
Bye. We won't miss you.
Oh, where are you going, Katie Nana? Katie Nana's gone, and is it any wonder? Driven, half demented by your children's pranks.
Do you really think I made another blunder? What on earth am I to say to Mr. Banks? George, dear, I'm feeling so bereft, dear. Another nanny's left, dear. Every nanny goes, we're unlucky, I suppose.
We are never going to find the perfect nanny.
Nonsense! Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain, whilst I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Coat! The simple truth is you've engaged 6 nannies in the last 4 months, and they've all been unqualified disasters. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a paragon who suffers no fool. A nanny's a stalwart our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane.
Of course, George.
So take control of situations, show your authority when interviewing staff. You know your role, they know their stations. Efficiency and forethought cut the jobs in half. Briefcase.
I thought Katie Nana would be firm with the children. She always seems so cross.
Winifred, never confuse efficiency with a liver complaint. Umbrella.
If only we could find someone like your old nanny.
I'm afraid that's not realistic, my dear. Few women could manage Miss Andrews' standards of efficiency. Besides, we can never afford someone of her caliber.
Precision and order, he wants nothing less.
It's like an army barracks.
Yes, and we're in a mess. No wonder the nannies are driven insane. We're living in a madhouse in Cherry Tree Lane.
Now, Winifred, you do want to please me.
You know I do, George.
Very well. Then place an advertisement in the Times stating that Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny at the lowest possible wage.
We better give them ours before they make another mistake.
Now, I would stress that...
Father,
What's that you're holding, dear?
We've written our own advertisement.
What on earth?
Now, George, please, I think we should hear it.
Winifred, none of your theatrics.
It won't hurt to listen. Now sit.
Wanted a nanny for 2 adorable children.
Adorable, that's debatable, I must say.
If you want this choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts. I put that put in. Play games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and fairly pretty.
Well, of all the ridiculous
George.
things...
Take us on outings, give us treats, sing songs, bring sweets. Never be cross or cruel, never feed us castor oil or gruel. Love us as a son and daughter, and never smell of barley water. I put that put in too. If you won't scold and dominate us, we will never give you cause to hate us. We won't hide your spectacles so you can't see. Put toads in your bed or pepper in your tea. Hurry, Nanny, many thanks. Sincerely, Jane and Michael Banks.
Well, that's quite enough Tommy Rot for one day. Will you please go upstairs and let me get to work?
They were only trying to help.
It won't help to make me late.
George, dear, I thought you put it down here. I'm sure a bowler hat can simply disappear.
You think to find a nanny who
There it is.
doesn't run away.
Precision
And order,
that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task.
The children, the servants, are all your domain.
So I remain the sovereign. Might you use the day well?
You remain the sovereign.
I shall be home at 6 o'clock sharp.
He remains the sovereign
Of Cherry Tree Lane. Yes?
I've come in answer to the advertisement.
What advertisement? We haven't placed any advertisements.
George and Winifred Banks live here, do they not?
Mr. and Mrs. Banks live here, yes?
And you are looking for a nanny?
Well, I suppose.
Very well then. Now, let's see. Plays, games, all sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Michael, it's an advertisement.
Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. There's no objection on that score, I hope.
Oh, no, of course not, no.
I'm glad to hear it.
Please take this up with Mrs. Banks. She handles all that side of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. And don't forget the references.
I make it a rule never to give references.
Oh, but I thought they were usual.
A very old-fashioned idea to my mind. The best people never require them now.
Oh, I see. You will have every third Thursday off from 5 until 9.
The best people give every second Wednesday from 6 till late, ma'am, and that is what I shall take.
Oh, of course. Well, it's all settled then?
As long as I'm satisfied. I will see the children now, thank you.
You'll find they're very nice children. Now, kids, this is
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Jane, don't stare. And close your mouth, Michael. We are not a codfish. Best foot forward. Spit spot.
Miss Brill, we have a new nanny.
She passed her interview then?
Or I did.
tidy, I must say. Tidier than I was expecting. Who's responsible for that?
Mrs. Brill, I am. I like to keep things neat.
Do you indeed? Well, I look forward to making use of that. If there's one thing I appreciate, it's a child whose word I can depend on. Who's she when she's at home?
That's Valentine. She's mine.
Well, from the look on her face, I'm not sure she'd agree with you.
Well, she's just a doll and I don't want to play with her anyway.
Treat her like that, and she might not want to play with you. Now, first things first. I always say the best place to hang a hat is on a hat stand. Where did I... Isn't here some... Oh, yes. Oh. Ah.
There's nothing in it. We better keep an eye on this one. She's tricky. Mary Poppins, how could you know we wanted a nanny when we made our list?
Your list? I am not an item in the weekly shop, thank you very much.
How did you come then? It was as if the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now, stand over there. Just as I thought, a noisy, mischievous, troublesome little boy.
You're making that up.
Now you. Thoughtless, short-tempered, and untidy.
I don't believe you. Let me see.
By the time the wind has blown the weather vane around, I'll show you if I can. No matter what the circumstance, for one thing I'm renowned. My character is spit, spot, spick, and span.
What about your measurement, Mary Poppins?
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect.
So people say. Each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great and patently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Ah, lovely. Both prim and proper and never too stern. Well educated yet willing to learn. I'm clean and honest, my manner refined, and I wear shoes of the sensible kind. I suffer no nonsense, and whilst I remain, there's nothing else I feel I need explain. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, that's my forte. Uncanny nannies are hard to find. Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind. I'm practically perfect, not slightly soiled. Running like an engine that's just been freshly oiled. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Well, those are my credentials. Perhaps you have a few questions.
Not temperamental.
Never.
Not grouchy or gruff.
Oh, the very thought.
Will you say tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you eat stories without a big fuss? Or have objections to playing with us?
Oh, I like games, but I choose them.
Why do you get to choose again?
Some minor improvements may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We hope you stay.
Each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great
And patently sound.
patently sound. Spit spot. Jane, doll's house, please. I'll take my telescope, thank you.
That's not fair.
Michael, I didn't say I was fair. I said I was practically perfect, and here's my aim. By the time I leave here, you both will be the same. You'll be practically perfect.
Practically perfect.
We will be practically perfect in every way. Best foot forward, split spot.
Chimney, chimney, chim chiroo. I does what I likes and I likes what I do. Today I'm a screever, and as you can see, a screever's an artist of highest degree, and it's all me own work from me own memory.
Me not this again.
Come on, Mr. Parkkeeper, it's just me paintings like it always is.
I'll be the judge of that. This is my park, and I say you're interfering with public railing, and I want them removed this instant.
Stay right where you are. I know that silhouette anywhere, Mary Poppins.
It's nice to see you, Bert.
And I may say you do look swell.
How does he know you? He can't know you. You've only just arrived.
I was not born 1 minute before I walked into your house, Michael Banks. Have you met these two, Bert?
Oh, I've seen him running about, chasing a kite.
He isn't a real kite.
So, what are you up to today?
Mary Poppins says it's a game called A Walk in the Park. Some game. I'm ready to eat spinach.
Come on, Bert. You're due for a break, and you'd promised you'd take me out when we met again, or have you forgotten?
Of course I ain't, Mary, but...
Oh dear, is that all you have? Never mind, my treat. And no one's charging for the trees in the sky, are they?
Mary Poppins, he isn't really coming with us, is he?
And why shouldn't he?
Well, to start with, he's very dirty. Father would never approve.
What was that?
Your duty, and we do not want to go to the smelly park anyway.
Yes, you do, because when you walk with Mary Poppins, she takes you to places you never dreamed of. And if she says it's a game, she has something in mind. You could be sure of that.
That's a picture of the park, isn't it? That's not the park. Not our park, anyways. Look at the trees, a much brighter green. And the sky is quite a different blue.
I think that you'll find it's just the way I've drawn it. You see, all that it takes is a spark, and then something as plain as a park can become a wonderland. All you have to do is look anew, then you'll understand why it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
Oh, really?
When the day's grey and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright.
You do talk nonsense, Bert.
Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the dove.
I haven't the faintest idea
When
what
Mary
you're
holds
talking
your
about.
hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
You've enough brass for all of us.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. Come on, you two.
Boring. just like other nannies, thinking parks are good for us. It's just statue ducks and grannies. I don't understand all the fuss. Is she doing it to spite us? We could lose her for a lark. Perhaps it's all a plot. I'll tell you what, she seems so different, but I bet she's not. There is nothing to excite us in the park. What was that?
You're quite wrong, you know.
Who are you?
I'm Nelius. Surely you know that. You've sat beneath me often enough. I've been waiting half a century for a bright sunny day to take a walk in the park. Come on.
Ain't it a glorious day, right as the morning in May?
I feel like I could fly.
Have you ever seen the grass so green or a bluer sky?
Blue sky. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Better days I've never known.
You can ask the passing statuary.
Nothing's ever set in stone.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Constable.
You do look tip-top today, if I may say so.
Thank you, Bert. And you may.
Each man out with his dog will stand agog to see a statue take a gentle jog. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we...
It's a jolly holiday with you, Bert. Gentlemen like you are few. Though you're just a diamond in the rough, Bert, underneath your blood is blue. You'd never think of pressing your advantage. Forbearance is the hallmark of your creed. A lady needn't fear when you are near. Your sweet gentility is crystal clear.
It's crystal clear.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with you.
It's a jolly holiday.
A jolly, jolly holiday with you. Jane, did that really happen? Yes. But how?
Mary Poppins, of course.
How do you know Mary Poppins?
She's an old friend of my father's.
Your father? You're her statue. You can't have a father.
Well, if that's true, then why do I miss him so much?
Isn't he one of the other statues?
No, he lives very far away from here.
Do you really miss him?
Wouldn't you miss your father if you hardly ever saw him?
I have to think about that. So, it's a good day in the park, isn't it?
It sure is.
That's it. That's what it was.
What are you talking about?
The statue's missing. The plinth is half empty.
Do you mean you've lost your marbles?
This is your fault, ain't it? I knew you had trouble as soon as you arrived. And look! What? Oh, lummy!
Will you play with us again?
Of course I will. I'm not going anywhere.
Then we'll see you soon. Bye.
Goodbye.
Nelius must be so lonely. Do you think her father could ever come to stay?
Anything can happen if you let it.
How long will you stay?
We will see.
You aren't going to leave us, are you, Mary Poppins?
I will stay until the wind changes. Now run along in.
Good night, Jane. Good night, Michael. Good night, Mary.
Good night, Bert.
Jane and Michael want to say goodnight.
Ah, yes. Tell them you've given me the message.
George, please.
All right.
Oh, Father, we've had a fantastic day. We sang with a busker, danced with a statue, and met a scriver. You wouldn't have a proof.
If you knew that, then why did you do it?
Daddy, could I have a kite? A proper one?
Would you fly it?
You could always teach me.
When would I have time to do that?
Daddy, who is the father of Nelius?
Would you please let me get on? Good night.
Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites, and his beloved astronomy, of course.
Ah, yes. I loved astronomy at his age. My nanny, Miss Andrew, soon beat it out of me.
I suppose we do need a nanny, George. But is it out of the question to do without one?
Of course it is. All the best people have nannies, so the wives can do charity work and entertain. Which reminds me, how is your tea party coming on?
Oh, I'm not sure. It seems so odd to send out invitations to people I hardly know.
But they're people that you should know. Remember, by your friends shall ye be judged.
But that's the thing. They're not my friends. In fact, I've heard from Clemmy Bunting recently. She's putting on a new play, and I was
How many times must I tell you to sever all connection with that part of your life?
George, I was an actress. Plenty of people might find that interesting. And yet you always talk as if it's something to be ashamed of.
Well, it's not exactly something that you should be proud of. Winifred, darling, I'm only trying to help you. I want people to admire you, to respect you.
I know, but sometimes it's hard
It's not hard. It's your job to be Mrs. Banks.
And what is your job?
To pay for everything. Yes?
Oh, I was only going to kiss you.
Oh, okay. Are you going to talk to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
No, I don't think so.
Well, just make sure she's doing things our way and not hers. What good are rules if you can bend them? We need a nanny who is disciplined and stern. With boys and girls, you don't befriend them. I fear the Mary Poppins has a lot to learn.
Being Mrs. Banks should be an easy role, and yet it's one which I don't seem too good at on the whole. I have a comfy home, I have a simple life, I have a name which tells the world I'm someone else's wife. Mrs. Banks, what does that entail? Facing tests of character, I always seem to fail. And as for his best people, well, I'd like to say, no thanks. They're not exactly my idea of being Mrs. Banks.
I still feel as if I'm dreaming. So much fun in just one day. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. I bet Nelius is beaming. Let's hope she will stay. Good night, Nelius.
Let's hope
She will stay.
Winds do change, tides can turn, sink or swim. See what you learn. Me, I was told when I was small, just learn a trade. So I learned them all. Chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
Morning, Bert. Swabbing the decks today, I see.
Gotta keep the street ship shape, Admiral.
Now tell me, Bert, how are things faring at number 17? All plain sailing with Mary Poppins, I trust.
There's some rough weather on every voyage, Admiral.
Those to be expected. Now, Miss Lark, what those children need is a touch of the cat and a night on the yardarm.
What those children need, Admiral, is a touch of happiness.
Miss Brill, don't make the sandwiches too early. They'll get stale before the guests arrive.
Everything's under control, ma'am.
What about the cake?
Cooling on the tray, waiting to be iced.
And you're quite sure you know how to ice it?
Quite sure. And in case you're worried, I have not been exchanged by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
No, of course not. What about the scones? I'll go up and check on the drawing room.
I'd like to be hopeful.
Well, I'd like to be rich, but the good Lord thought otherwise.
Mother wants you in the drawing room.
She can't have me. I ain't got enough on my plate as it is.
Well, she says you can tell Robert Sny what to do.
Does she indeed? Well, why don't I go have a smoke by the gasworks for good measure?
Please, Mrs. Brill, I don't mind. Honest.
Fine. I will give you one task and one task only. And so help me if you get this wrong.
What is it?
Put the icing tools next to the cake. I will
Icing
need a
tools?
bowl of hot water to warm them.
Cake? No, scone.
I will make the icing
Bowl of hot water.
as soon as I'm
and
back.
I will make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Now, do you think you can manage that?
Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. Once the cake's done, I have the sandwiches next because Madame wants them fresh. So I can't start them until there's no time to finish them. I swear, a slave in ancient Rome was on a pleasure cruise compared to my life in this house. All I ever do around here is work, 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 work.
Well, don't just stand there, Robert Sny.
Right, okay. Bowl for the water, bowl for the wine. It's the bowl. Icing tools for the cake, icing for the cake. Icing tools, bowl for the water, bowl for the water. Gotta get.
What are you looking for?
A bowl for the water. Whoa, my grapes. Oh, crap. Okay. Where's
Robert Sny.
Right. Thank you.
Michael, why don't we make the icing? Because we don't know how. Don't be so feeble. Get the eggs. If Mrs. Brill can do it, it can't be that hard. Are there eggs in icing? Here are mine.
I don't think Mrs. Brill will thank you.
Then she'll be guilty of a great ingratitude. Is it supposed to look like that?
It doesn't look like that when Mrs. Brill makes it.
Don't be impertinent and get me the cake.
Honestly, Miss Jane, I was only trying to be... Ah, that's hot! Oh, Miss Jane! Oh, Miss Jane, don't tell Miss... Oh.
Miss Brill, go up and get ready now. Roberts and I! Oh, Roberts and I! Shall I call the doctor?
I do not think that will be necessary, ma'am.
How could you children be so cruel when you know how important my party is? You deserve a very nasty medicine, just you wait until bedtime.
Oh, I don't think we should wait until then, ma'am. Why not go up and get changed? We will clear up, won't we?
We're not ill, we won't take it, and you cannot make us.
In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty. Open.
Strawberry ice.
Now you.
I'm not sure I like strawberry ice.
And I'm not sure I care. Open.
Lime cordial.
Now, off we go, you two. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane.
I told you she is tricky. Must we? Can't Roberts and I do when he wakes up? He is a servant.
With that attitude, you will get through a lot of stuff before you are very old. Besides, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game, and every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake, a look, a spree. It's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. For example, the honeybees that fetch the nectar from the flowers to the comb never tire of ever buzzing to and fro, because they take a little nip from every flower that they sip, and hence they find their task is not a grind. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, you're a miracle worker. However did you get them to do it?
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine?
Go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way.
So, just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Medicine go down.
Medicine go down.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. In the most delightful way. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. In the most delightful way.
Miss Brill, we must get this tidy before the guests arrive.
Excuse me, ma'am. Apparently this came for you this morning, but Roberts and I forgot to give them to you. They're apologies, ma'am, from your guests. They're not coming. None of them.
Oh, well, perhaps we chose the wrong day.
I think you chose the wrong people, ma'am.
In a most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, where are we going today?
I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree?
If he did, you must have put the idea into his head somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say! Me putting ideas into other people's heads. Really?
Precision and order, cogs in a wheel, opening a ledger, closing a deal, prudent investment, financial sense, a perfect ray of sunshine, pounds, shillings, and pence.
Good morning. Great men have dreams of power and position, and it's our job to back them to the hill. For shrewd investment and advice, they'll pay a price, the bedrock on which banks are built. Thanks. A word. I see Evan Hustler is coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Good. Good. Be sure it's the right one.
In every transaction, credit or debt, sheets are well balanced, targets are met.
Banks, what objections can you have? My security is more than adequate, and Latin America is an expanding market. Have you no courage?
But, Mr. Evan Hustler, what I haven't been able to grasp is what exactly is your final product?
What do you think? Money?
Yes, money. But making money out of money, is that enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker? A man has dreams of building an empire to make his name in many distant lands. And in the new world, I'm told, we'll soon strike gold. Let's seize that chance with both our hands.
Assessing the market, limit the risk. Little room for error. Business is brisk.
Have you come to your decision, Mr. Banks? There's a town of good people whose future depends on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance. The fact you could be running in weeks and be expanding before the year's out. Please, Mr. Banks, I'd give it everything I've got. Believe in me.
I do believe in you, Mr. Northbrook, and I've tried to find a way, but there was just not the collateral.
What about my workforce? Decent men who deserve a better life. They're my collateral. My men have dreams. To earn an honest living, they have wives and kids, homes to call their own. If you'd invest in us, hard-working men, I promise we'd repay the loan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Northbrook, but I...
Daddy?
What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
No, we are not, and no man should be too busy for his own children. What are you here for, young man? Have you come to ask the bank for some money as well?
Hardly. What would they need money for?
Well, it's never too early to learn its value.
I know the value of that. 6 pence.
No, that it's worth. Its value is how you spend it. Do good and may you have good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
What is the meaning of this? Mary Poppins, can't you see that I'm without a sense of humor?
Are you, Daddy?
No, I am not. But when I was a boy, I would have never interrupted my father.
Were you ever a boy?
Of course I was. But my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me out of my father's way, and he'd have been very annoyed if she hadn't.
What about your mother?
I can't believe I saw either one of them more than once a week.
Well, didn't they mind?
Mind? They were glad to be rid of me.
Then who kissed you to bed? Miss Andrews?
Oh, of course not. There was no time for hugs and kisses and all that sloppy nonsense. What's the matter?
Poor Daddy.
Poor? What do you mean, poor? That's what made me the man I am today. Eh, Mary Poppins?
Yes, I'm afraid it did.
Well, you've seen where I work, and I have a great deal to do.
Daddy, when you invest the bank's money, what are you looking for? A good man or a good idea?
I suppose a good idea, but a good man is much more rare and much more valuable.
All right, that's enough. Come along, children.
Mrs. Smythe, can you please bring in Herr Von Hustler? I'm sorry, Mr. Von Hustler, but I'm afraid my answer's no.
So you don't even understand a good idea when you see one?
Perhaps not, but I recognize a good man when I see one.
You'll regret this, Herr Banks.
A man has dreams that life hasn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. Mr. Northbrook, when can you open the factories?
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. You will not regret.
The birds toppings about, toppings, toppings, toppings about.
Who's that horrible, ugly, odd woman? Do not point. And for your information, she is not in the least horrible.
But she's just a bundle of rags.
When will you learn to look past what you see? Early each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way to the people she calls.
Come, buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care, and you'll be glad if you do. The young ones are hungry, their nests are so bare. All it takes is tuppence from you. The birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead her birds fill the skies.
What are you doing? I'm going to give her my sixpence. What a waste.
That is a matter of opinion. Here, one bag, please. Save your sixpence. All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can't see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that he cares. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to
did she? Now, there she is now. You can tell her yourself.
Isn't that Miss Lark's dog, Willoughby?
Do not interrupt when someone is barking. You were saying? Oh, really? Well, if she's going to keep running off like that, perhaps it would be better for you to keep her on a lead.
Willoughby! Willoughby!
Oh, look, here she is now.
Oh, Willoughby, it's all right. Mommy's here. You know, sometimes you'd almost think he could talk. Oh, Willoughby.
But can Willoughby really talk?
Of course he can. Getting him to stop is the problem.
How do you learn to talk dog?
How do you think? Master the grammar.
Practice when you can.
And avoid mongrels.
Far too much slang.
Now come along. I cannot stand here all day talking shop.
Talking shop? What's a silly expression?
It isn't silly in the least.
Well, what do you buy at a talking shop?
Conversations, of course.
Well, I've never seen one.
Well, there is only one, and it belongs to Mrs. Corey.
Who's Mrs. Corey?
Who's Mrs. Corey? Mrs. Corey is older than anyone in the world. She talked to William before he went out conquering, Vlad before he went out in Palin, and Alexander when he weren't so great.
We will have to call at her shop in the park.
What shop in the park? There is no shop in the park.
Remember, anything can happen if you let it.
My teeth last night, Mom.
Oh, no.
That's it! That's it, everyone! I'm all out of conversations.
Mrs. Corey?
Well, if it isn't Mary Poppins and Bert and the dear Banks children.
She knows us?
And how is poor little Georgie?
Who?
Georgie Banks, your father. He used to give his nanny the slip and come to my shop here in secret.
George Banks. It couldn't have been the same George Banks. That would have been 40 years ago, and no one can remember that far back.
Listen, dearie. I remember everything. I remember Georgie used to love my gingerbread. I wonder if we have any left today. Annie, Fanny, look lively. Give the dear Banks children some gingerbread.
Yes, Mother.
There you are. Gingerbread pieces with gingerbread stars. Georgie always saved his stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you?
Well, I did want an ounce of conversations.
Well, I'm all out of conversations. And I'm right out of words, too. You see, I've had a lot of chatterboxes in my shop here today. But let me see what I have left. Oh! I do have some letters and a little bit of back chat. Come, children, come look. An ounce, you say?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be 15 letters. Go on, take your pick.
Jane, you can choose 7.
I'll choose the R, L, O, D, E, C, and G. Those aren't no good. You can't make conversations out of them.
Your turn, Michael. 7 more.
I have the I, the U, T, P, F, S, and A. That's what I have.
And I'll choose an X. Now, what words can we make?
Well, I see cat and dog.
Roofapex, that's 9.
Lapatiferous, that's 11, nearly there.
But those don't count. You made them up.
And just where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody had to make them up.
You know, we could always use the same letter more than once. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That's not a word.
Of course it's a word. And unless I'm quite mistaken, I think it's going to prove a rather useful one. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to leaf through lengthy lexicons to find a perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation keen. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Diddle-lie, diddle-lie, diddle-lie.
When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though if they'd had this word, they may have used it once or twice.
I'm sure Egyptian pharaohs would have grasped it in a jiff. Then every single pyramid would bear its hieroglyph. Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say it 10 words and a Muslim, that seems so ferocious.
Add some further flourishes, it's sorrow co-co-cautious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-lie, the Druids would have carved it on their mighty monoliths.
The ancient Greeks, I'm certain, would have used it in their midst.
I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
If you say it softly, the effect can be hypnosis.
Check your breath before you speak in case it's halitosis. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Of course, you can say it backwards, which is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants at 16 vowels as well. Then put them in an order which is very hard to spell.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
LCIOUS.
Smarty pants.
LCIOUS.
Children, hope to see you again.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. 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 S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F-R-A-G-I-L-I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-O-C-E-R-C-A-L-I-F-R-A-G-I-L-I. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always have to know. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. The winds may blow, but who's to know exactly what they're bringing? Good news or bad, happy or sad, the pendulum keeps swinging.
Right. Now put the steps there and stand back. Put the steps there and stand back. You are never to come near that vase, nor no one else but me neither. That is an heirloom.
Heirloom.
Now while I do this, stay totally immobile.
Immobile.
Do not move a muscle.
Muscle.
Do not breathe. Do you hear me?
I might as well be dead.
Don't give me any ideas.
A game is played, a change is made, but still the road is long. And though they might yet fly a kite, sometimes the wind's too strong.
George, what's happened? Are you ill?
No, should I be?
No, of course not. Only, why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No, everything's all wrong.
My dear, what is it?
Well, if you must know, I refused some German chap a loan. It seems he went to our chief rivals. They gave him the money, and now it's turned into a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get everything right.
Can't they? That's exactly what they expect.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough,
That is more than loud enough. Upstairs now.
But we were just...
I don't care what you adjust. Upstairs now. Where's my briefcase? I put it right here. Michael? Jane, will you please give it to me? Why must I put up with this? You're their mother. Why can't you do something?
Well, I can try shouting for a start.
Mary Poppins, you're supposed to teach these children manners. And just look at them. They're a pair of little savages. If I had it my way, you'd be...
George, you're tired. Mary Poppins, don't bring the children down tonight. George is quite exhausted.
I hope you haven't forgotten, ma'am. Tonight's my evening out.
What?
Oh dear, I had forgotten. I suppose the best people wouldn't ask you to change your plans.
No, ma'am, they would not.
I thought not.
That's not fair! Daddy loses his temper and we're shut up in the nursery. Well, Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him!
Jane, take that back this instant! I will not have you criticize your father that way.
Why not? He did it to you last week. He said you were neither use nor ornament.
How dare you bring that up at a time like this?
Why? We had him say it, and so did you.
Sometimes people say things that they don't mean. Take the children upstairs, please, Mary Poppins. George.
Yes?
I thought you might want to talk about it.
What would be the point?
Because perhaps I can help. If you have troubles, I'd like to share them with you.
Don't worry, you will.
What do you mean?
The fact is, I've been suspended without pay until they figure out what to do with me.
Turns ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. But bad-tempered faces, I'd better change quick. 'Cause if the wind changes, the faces might stick. Chim chimney, chim chim tree, chim charoo.
out and we get left on our own.
You have plenty of toys to play with.
Well, I don't want to. They're boring.
They might say the same about you.
Why does Daddy get to be so cross?
Fathers are supposed to look after their children, not yell at them all the time.
Maybe, but have you ever asked yourself who looks after the fathers when things go wrong?
The mothers, I suppose.
Not the children?
Wouldn't that be rather upside down?
Sometimes families are upside down. For a while, anyway.
Well, I don't want to be in an upside-down family. I wish I could run away.
Why don't you? Somebody might adopt you.
But you'd miss me.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I could have your toys.
No, you could not.
Yes, I could, and I jolly well would.
Hey, give that to me. You give that to me, Michael Banks. That's mine.
How about you come and get it?
Give it to me. Now look what you've done.
That's no way to treat Valentine. What's she ever done to you?
She's a doll, silly. She couldn't have done anything.
That's all, you two. Now, into bed at once.
But we haven't had our milk in our...
There will be no buts and no milk either. If you cannot be good, you may as well be sorry.
I wish you'd just leave us alone.
Be careful of the things you wish for. Poor Valentine. Go inside and make yourself presentable.
Well, we can't go to sleep, and you cannot make us.
In that, as in so many things,
Your information
is faulty. Playing the game, taking your turn. Some children lose, some children learn. Treat the toys nicely and maybe they'll treat you the same. Playing the game. Are you feeling any better, Valentine?
A little better, thank you.
Tempers are frayed, tempers are lost. Nobody stops to think of the cost.
But they tore my arm again.
Oh dear. Children who lose their temper will lose everything else in the end.
They're not playing the game, not playing fair. Not with the doll, not with the bear.
Thrown on the floor and neglected, they were to blame. Play the game. Please tell them.
Why don't you tell them?
What's going on? What's happened to all of the toys?
Make them go small and get back in their boxes.
Why? You've hurt them and called them names. Now it's their turn.
Summon the toys. Now is the time to tell of your woes, to tell of their crime.
Crimes! Crimes!
Come on, come on. Enter the fray. They need to hear what you have to say.
Mary Poppins.
I couldn't agree more, Jane.
But they're our toys, and we'll do what we want with them. So there.
So there, indeed.
Playing the game, having a ball. Those who won't play shan't play at all. When we meet again,
Is that you, Bert?
Up where the smoke is all billowed and curled, between pavement and stars is the chimney sweep's world, where there's hardly no day nor hardly no night. There's things half in shadow and halfways in light. On the rooftops of London. Core. What a sight.
So you are a sweep now, are you?
Best view in the world, eh? And who gets to see it? The birds, the stars, and the chimney sweeps. Nothing to beat it, eh? Now as the ladder of life has been strung, you may think it sweeps on the bottommost rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke, in this whole wide world, there's no happier bloke. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree. Our sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo.
Good luck will rub off when he shakes hands with you.
Or blow me a kiss,
Bert?
And that's lucky too. Oh, so you're leaving then, are you?
The wind has changed.
But they're good kids, Mary.
Would I be bothering with them if they weren't? But I cannot help them if they will not let me, and there's no one so hard to teach as the child who knows everything.
So?
So they have to do the next bit on their own.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
When you're with the sweep, you're in glad company. Goodbye, Bert.
Chim chim, chim chim cheree. When you're with the sweep, you're in glad company. Nowhere is there more happy a crew than them's what sings chim chim cheree, chim cheroo. Chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
Cheerio, Bert. Keep an eye on them for me.
She can't have left us. Oh, yes, she can, and she's taken all of our toys.
What in the name of heaven are you two doing out here? Where's Mary Poppins?
She's gone.
Gone? Well, if that doesn't take the bloomin' biscuit.
Mrs. Brill, what does au revoir mean?
Why?
Because that's what the note says. Dear Jane and Michael, keep playing the games. Au revoir, Mary Poppins.
It's French, I know that. Does it mean God bless you? Or does it mean good luck? No, I remember now. It means till we meet again. Now come inside before you catch your death.
Miss Brill, is the nursery tidy?
As tidy as I can make it, ma'am.
If only you knew how hard it was to track her down.
Really, ma'am, fancy that. Call, we get through nannies for a flippin' pastime. Now when one returns, they make this fearful fuss. Never liked her much when she was here the last time.
She makes life easier for
is her, isn't it?
Well, I don't know who else.
Why is it such a secret?
Do you think that she's returned to the things back the way they were?
The note says, till we meet again.
I just know it must be her.
Oh my goodness, she'll be here any moment. George, dear, you're going to be surprised.
Oh, Winifred, you know I hate surprises at the best of times.
Not this one. Oh, George, I do think you're going to be proud of me for once. Precision and order, it's perfectly true. Can really make a difference. I found her for you. Clear thinking, sound judgment, and now we'll regain a home you can be proud of in Cherry Tree Lane. Hurry up, everyone. I wanted to find everything. Spit, spot, spick, and span. Our sense of excitement is hard to contain. Order is returning. Wonder is returning. Someone is returning to Cherry Tree Lane.
Good morning.
The Holy Terror!
Miss Andrew, it's so lovely to meet you at last. I do hope you had a good journey.
It was thoroughly unpleasant. I never enjoy travel. You must be poor George's wife. I must say, your flower beds are disgracefully untidy. Take my advice, plant evergreens. Or better yet, have nothing there at all, just a plain cement courtyard.
Oh, but my dear Miss Andrew, I'm so very fond of flowers.
Well, then you are a very silly woman. Where did George go?
Oh, I'm afraid he had an urgent appointment.
For which no doubt he was late, as usual. Okay. Not much of a house, is it?
Oh, well, we like it.
Well, then you mustn't be very hard to please. Look at the dust. There and there it's filth.
Well, we are rather short-staffed at the moment.
Hasn't anyone ever cleaned these curtains?
Now, just a minute!
Oh, the children. Come closer where I can see you. Come. Pity. I don't suppose you know who I am?
Yes, we do. You're the Holy Terror.
Impudent boy. And you're Jane, I suppose. Why aren't you wearing any stockings?
I don't like them.
What manners! I can see we haven't a moment to lose. These children have been spoiled. I've arrived here just in time. By chance, I brought the punishment that best befits the crime. Brimstone and treacle and cod liver royal, liberal doses of each. These are the treats from which children recoil, the lessons I'm going to teach. Just follow my motto and don't mollycoddle, it may lead the irksome to irk. So seek satisfaction from punitive action. Brimstone and treacle will work open.
Does it taste as bad as it smells?
Worse.
Do I have to?
Open. Brimstone and treacle and carmelic soap. These are the tools of my trade. With spoonfuls of sugar, you don't have a hope of seeing that changes are made. Where manners are chronic, my tincture's the tonic that's certain to wipe off that smirk. So pour out a ration in matronly fashion. Brimstone and treacle will work. The boy will attend boarding school at once. As for the girl, I shall take charge of her myself. I won't stand for whining or whinging or whimpering, crying or lying or singeing or simpering. I fear it's clear that in these two such bad habits lurk. First threaten to throttle, then uncork the bottle. Brimstone and treacle will work. Now, show me my room.
Creak.
She can't stay. They'll have to dismiss her. You know, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm disappointed. Truly, I am. I thought it was going to be, with the umbrella.
What are we going to do?
The only thing we can't do. Run away. Come on.
Easy now, your friend ain't gonna hurt ya.
Oh, Bet, it's only you.
You're filthy.
Perhaps a smudge or two, but it so happens today I'm a chimney sweep. Now, what's the matter and who's after you?
The nastiest nanny in the world.
The nastiest nanny in the world, eh? Well, you ought to know if you've been through enough of them. Is she really as bad as all that?
She looks like somebody would eat her young,
Miss Andrew is Daddy's nanny.
which explains a lot.
Ever since he stopped working, he just sits and mopes. Mary Poppins used to say he needed our help, but now it's too late.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Tell you what, why don't we start things off with a bit of a shake for good luck?
Why would shaking hands bring you luck?
Haven't you ever heard it's lucky to shake a sweep's hand?
What would you do if you want some luck?
Well, then I shake hands with myself, see? Now, what have we got here?
Michael, look, it's a real kite. What's the matter? You've always wanted to fly a proper kite.
Yes, but I've always wanted to fly with Daddy.
Well, of course you have. But you need to learn how it's done. Get some training in and you'll make him the proudest father in the country.
Really? You're not just saying that?
Did I say the country? The whole bloomin' empire, more like. With tuppence for paper and string, you can have your own set of wings. With your feet on the ground, you're a bird in flight with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Whoa, let's go fly a kite up to the highest side. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite.
Try again.
Try again.
What's this? We do not allow litter here.
It isn't litter, it's a kite.
Oh, a kite. It is. I haven't seen one since I was a boy. Now let's wind her off, reel her off, and away she'll go.
I want to do it. That gave it to me.
But you'll let me help, seeing that I haven't flown kites since I was only a boy.
Oh, all right.
When you send it flying up there, all at once you're lighter than air. You can dance on the breeze over houses and trees with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest side. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite. Reel it in.
I can't. It's stuck.
I'll help.
Try one more time.
And why not, may I ask?
Because we run away.
Have you indeed?
Oh, Mary Poppins, it's been so awful since you went away. And now Miss Andrews come and Daddy's ruined and we never helped him like he wanted us to. And we're too stupid to hear what you were saying and
Oh, my eye, but your life is a tragedy. Now let's go home and do not dawdle.
But she's there. She came this morning as a surprise for Daddy.
Did she? Well, maybe I will have to be a surprise for her. That was a lovely greeting, Bert.
I meant it, Mary. You're a sight for sore eyes.
You really are. Welcome back, Mary Poppins.
Told you they were good kids, Mary.
And I told you they were worth bothering with.
Now let's see here, it's against the regulations coming down from the sky like that. And where from, eh? I'd like to know where from.
If I were a park keeper, I should straighten my cap and button my coat. Come along, children.
Are you going to shake hands with Bert for good luck?
No.
Why not? We have.
I do not need any luck, thank you.
Illusions may shatter, but memories stay. The things that really matter, I lost on the way. The sovereign, the master, and long may he reign. The famous good for nothing, cherry tree lane.
They'll find their way home in no time. Let's face it, ma'am, they've had enough practice.
But this time they're not being naughty. I'm afraid I've made them unhappy. I'm afraid I've made everyone unhappy.
We'll find them, madam. Don't you worry.
George, dear, I know it hurts your pride, dear, but you can't just run and hide, dear. Why can't you see that I'm here, and I am on your side? Whenever you spoke of Miss Andrew, you showered the woman with praise. But now that I met dear Miss Andrew, there are one or two things I'd rephrase. To think you were raised by that monster and carried that burden through life. If only you had seen that you could share it with your wife. Being Mrs. Banks, it's easy to forget the way I felt that summer's day, the day that we first met. Being Mrs. Banks, being kissed by you, the man of dreams who made me feel that wishes could come true. And now, although you're lost, it's time that we close the ranks. I'll fight for the man who needs freeing, the real you who no one has seen, and you'll find a way of just being Mr. Banks.
Everyone. Perhaps they're all dead.
Not like that, you stupid boy.
What am I supposed to do?
Well, they're not all dead. What was that noise?
It's a bird. Did she? Well, frankly, that's not a surprise. Locked in this cage and not free in the skies for 2 years. How shameful. Yes, of course, that's a field I know well. In an hour no longer, your wings will grow stronger. Once you are free from this cell.
Which kind of bird is it?
It's a lark. You are seeing a lark in the cage for the first time,
And the last.
My pleasure. Oh, don't mention it.
You stay there and clean the grate again. I'm going downstairs to fetch Caruso, my lock. So, children, I see you decided to come crawling back, have you? Well, I think we know what's needed now. Brimstone and treacle, my favorite liquor, that will make runaways stop. Impudent children respond so much quicker when forced to drink every last drop.
Is this what you're looking for?
Who are you?
I'm Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins, but you left without notice.
And I've come back without notice.
I see, and what do you expect me to do?
Pack!
You insolent young person, how dare you speak to me this way? Silly little girl with your newfangled methods. I bring up children so they know their place. Shining for tradition, I govern my charges.
Mishandled charges up in your face.
I brought up their father.
Well, that I don't doubt. You must be so proud of the way he turned out.
A shining example, a pillar.
A post, they all have their problems, but him more than most.
Caruso? Where is my lock? Caruso! You let my little lock out of his cage. Now you will bear the full brunt of my rage. Brimstone and treacle for you. Brimstone and treacle
Just
for
a spoonful of sugar.
Brimstone and treacle
Just
for
a spoonful of sugar.
Brimstone and treacle
Just a
for
spoonful of sugar. Ha 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 ha
She came from up in the sky.
Michael! Jane, is that you? Oh, but you're very naughty to have gone running off like that. I should be angry as anything. If only I weren't so glad to see you. Where's Miss Andrew?
She is gone.
Gone? How peculiar. So, Mary Poppins, if you're back, does that mean you're going to stay?
I will stay for as long as necessary, ma'am.
Because the last time you were here, you left without a word of warning. How am I to know that you won't do it again?
You do not.
Mother, somebody's here.
Constable! Oh, I'm so very sorry. They're back, and they're better than ever.
Not all of them, madam.
What do you mean?
We found this one wandering around the park. Good night, madam.
George.
Where is she?
Miss Andrew? She's left.
Left? But how?
She might have thought we were rude.
Rude! To Miss Andrew! Well, I can't forgive it, but I'll try to forget. In fact, I'd have given you a sixpence if I had one.
Now, George, if you haven't noticed, Mary Poppins is back.
Is she? Mary Poppins. Well, I wonder if I might have a word. Things have not gone well for us since you left us, and...
About my wages, sir. If you do not mind, I would not like to take any just now. I should prefer to let them accrue.
Mary Poppins, if only you knew how many payments we're accruing as it is.
Yes, well...
So, is everything all settled?
It is. Now, I must get started. Jane, Michael, Spitspot.
Are the drains acting up, or is Mrs. Brill cooking? Oh, I'm afraid so. Come now, George. You made one wrong decision. But how bad is that? After so many years of good service, what's the worst that could possibly happen?
Well, Winifred, if I am to be dismissed by the bank, we'll be destitute. The servants will leave us, the house will be repossessed, and we'll be outside with our children on the frosty curbside.
But we'll have what really matters. The children. And each other.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We hope you'll stay. Uncanny nannies are hard to find.
Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind.
You're practically perfect.
And yet I'm sure there's still room for improvement. A few games more.
Is that locket new?
And if it is,
Well, what's inside?
a portrait.
Whose?
You will know when the time comes and not before.
You aren't going to leave us, are you, Mary Poppins?
I will stay until the chain breaks.
What chain? Where?
Michael, you must be careful. The room's a bit excited to see me back, and you never know what might happen around a fireplace.
Chimney swept, secret kept from me above the gables. Another world to be unfurled, it ain't just myths and fables. A chimney stack looks cold and black against the twilight sky. Don't never fear, there's warmth up here, perhaps you'll find out why.
Hello there.
Hello.
Well, what are we doing up here?
Just looking around. The world is awfully big, isn't it?
And what does that tell you?
That we're small and unimportant?
Speak for yourself.
Not us so much, but our troubles. Everything with the bank and father. From down at the nursery, they seem so big. But up here...
That's a way to look at it. Troubles are never so big from when you look at them from a little higher up. And always remember, there's a crew of good people always waiting to help you if you need them. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree. Now guardian angels you don't often see. They're not highfalutin, not grand nor aloof. Now they're covered in soot and they're up on your roof.
Chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
See, it's true. a perfect project, it seemed a shame when the steps aren't going as smoothly as they might. Mary Governor. Good night, Governor, happy time. Good night, Governor, happy time. Never reason, never rhyme. Good night, Governor, happy time. Cheerio. Cheerio.
Good night, Governor.
Cheerio.
Hey, not so fast. Upstairs. You too. Mary Poppins, would you be good enough to explain?
First of all, I would like to make one thing clear.
Yes?
I never explain anything. Come along, children. What's wrong?
Happened. The chairman wants to see me at the close of business tonight.
Tonight? Well, I'm going with you, and jolly well give the chairman a piece of my mind.
It'll only make matters worse, darling. We might as well face it. In a matter of hours, I would have joined the ranks of the unemployed.
George, you're quite sure?
Quite sure. So we'd better start planning. In fact, I'm afraid the time has come.
Do you mean your mother's vase? But won't you miss it terribly?
Needs must, my dear. We always said we were saving it for a rainy day, and tomorrow it looks set to pour.
Miss Brill, let's go to the kitchen. You need to sit down.
Mrs. Brill, are you cooking again?
Don't you start! I've opened all the windows!
I was only going to say that it smells delicious.
The whole world has gone upside down!
Well, I never. So that's why I put them.
What are they?
Stars. Gingerbread stars I ate once for my nanny. I always knew where I'd hide them. No one would ever find them. Trouble is, I couldn't find them either.
They're very bright.
Aren't they? Even after all these years.
Here, let me give you a hand.
Thank you. You know, when I was young, I always thought that when I grew up, I'd learn everything there was to know about the stars. Funny, I haven't thought about all that in years. I'm not usually sentimental.
It's good to look back sometimes.
Is it? I'm not so sure. A man has dreams of walking with giants to carve his niche in the edifice of time before the mortar of his zeal has the chance to congeal. The cup is dashed from his lips. The flame is snuffed a burning. He's brought to rack and ruin in his prime.
Life's a rum go, Governor, and that's the truth.
You know what I think? It's Mary Poppins. Ever since she stepped into this house, things begun to happen to me. The world was calm, well-ordered, exemplary. Then came this person with chaos in her wake. And now my life's ambitions go with one fell blow. It's quite a bitter pill to take. It's that Poppins woman. She's responsible for all of this.
I know the very person. What's that she's always saying? A spoonful of sugar, that is all it takes. It changes bread and water into tea and cakes. A spoonful of sugar goes a long, long way. So have yourself an healthy helping every day.
A healthy helping of trouble, if you ask me.
Like you say, Governor, you've got to grind at that grindstone. Though childhood slips like sand through a sieve, and all too soon they've up and grown, and then they've flown. And it's too late for you to give just that spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. The medicine go down. The medicine go down. Well, good luck, Governor.
Thank you, Bert. Good luck to you too.
Father,
Yes?
we've come to say goodnight.
Oh, yes, good night.
Daddy, do you remember when we came to the bank?
Yes, I do.
Well, we were each given a sixpence, and we were told to spend them carefully.
I suppose Mary Poppins put you up to this.
Oh no, she hasn't said a word about it. But we've kept them, and we've decided to give them to you. So we thought a bit of extra cash might loosen things up a little. It's a whole shilling.
Thank you.
Good night, Daddy. We do love you, you know.
Jane, do you remember when you asked me who Neleus's father was?
Yes?
It was Poseidon, king of the sea. Good night.
Mummy, Daddy's really worried, isn't he?
Yes, he is. But always remember one thing. He loves you very much. And that's much more important than jobs or houses or anything else.
Are you going to the bank with him?
I wish he'd let me. I wish there was someone who could stand up for him to show him what he's really like on the inside.
But why can't he do that for himself?
Because he's a man, and a very proud one.
Then you must go.
I would love to, but I'm afraid it just isn't possible.
Why?
Because I'm a woman.
Well, Mary Poppins says anything is possible if we can only get out of our own way.
Do you really believe that, Mary Poppins?
Anything can happen if you let it. Sometimes things are difficult, but you can bet it doesn't have to be so.
Changes can be made. You can move a mountain if you use a larger spade.
Anything can happen, it's a marvel.
You can be a butterfly, or just stay alive, or stretch your mind beyond fantastic. Dreams are made of strong elastic.
Take some sound advice and don't forget it.
Anything can happen if you let it.
I wonder.
Anything can happen if you let it.
You won't know a challenge until you've met it.
No one does it for you, no one but yourself.
Vacillating violets get left up on the shelf. Anything can happen, just imagine.
That should be my epitaph. I wear the badge in honor of this world's free thinkers,
Those who see beyond their blinkers.
Jelly isn't jelly till you set it. Anything can happen if you let it.
You're quite right. I think it's about time I stood up for myself. Good night.
If you reach for the stars, all you get are the stars. But we've found a whole new space. If you reach for the heavens, you get the stars thrown in.
did it happen? You turned down a deal that was set to make millions, and we want to know why.
Well, then I'll tell you. Mr. Von Hustler's scheme was hollow. It had no product. It had no substance. It had no meaning outside the walls of a bank. Oh yes, he told me about assets and profits and growth, but there wasn't a word about people. And I know that if a man puts any value on real life, then as far as you're concerned, he's a washout. But I'm afraid I do value it, gentlemen. In short, George Banks, Esquire, has rediscovered the human race. And I apologize for ruining the bank, but I do not apologize for understanding that there are more important things in life than making money.
Ruining the bank? Ruining the bank? My dear chap, what are you talking about? You've saved our bacon. Haven't you heard? Von Hustler's scheme has left our rival in ruins. You've kept us out of the nastiest scandal since records began. We're not looking for your apology. We're offering ours.
Oh my word.
And another thing, do you remember giving a loan to a fellow called Northbrook? Well, he's repaid the loan and is opening 2 new factories. With the percentage you negotiated, we look set to make a fortune.
Oh my word!
Well, that's just it. We'd very much like to know how you did it. Just give us the word. It'll be quite safe with us.
Give you the word? I'll give you the word, all right. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now, Banks.
Forgive him! It's not his fault! It's all because of his nanny, Miss Andrew!
The Holy Terror. She taught me everything I know.
Well, now's your chance to forget it.
And if you want to fight about it, then you've come to the right woman!
No, darling, it's all right. It's all right. I haven't lost any money at all. I've made the bank a fortune.
Really? Oh, George!
Now, madam, if you please, we still have some business to conduct. Well, Banks, by way of recompense, we'd like to offer you the position of senior manager, with a salary at double...
How much exactly has he made for you?
Triple, quadruple your present rate.
Close your mouth, George. We are not a codfish.
Well?
I accept. But you must understand one thing. From now on, my family comes first.
Agreed?
Winifred, I'm afraid I've underestimated you. How can you ever forgive me?
How can you ask?
It was selfish of me to keep you off the stage. If you want to go back, I won't keep you from it.
I think I found a role I much rather prefer. And it's going to keep me busy for quite a while.
Anything can happen, raise the curtain. 'Cause things you thought impossible will soon seem certain. Though at first it may sound clownish, see the world more upside downish. Turn it on instead and purity.
deciding we live happily ever after, won't they?
Of course. Oh, Mary Poppins, that's the best yet. To be up in the heavens. Do you think we'll ever be back there?
Yes, someday.
Really? Will it be soon?
Oh no, not for a very long time. But you can always keep your eye on the stars until you return. Here.
What do you think she's grabbing?
But this is your telescope.
So it is. Keep it if you like. It's a present.
Thank you.
Now run along in. It's getting cold.
I love you, Mary Poppins.
You're a fine boy, Michael Banks, and one day you will be a fine man.
Oh, Mary Poppins, it makes me so anxious when you talk like that.
Like what?
All kind and sweet and gentle, and not a bit like you.
Is that the thanks I get for all the trouble I've taken?
That's better.
That's lovely, Bert.
They're yours, Mary. I painted them for you. It's tonight, isn't it?
Yes, Bert.
Well, goodbye then, Mary.
Goodbye, Bert. Look after yourself. With every job that is complete, there is a sense of bittersweet. That moment when you know the task is done. Though in your heart you'd like to stay, to help things on their way, you've always known they must do it alone. There. Practically perfect. And I hope it remains so.
What happened? Something's changed.
Look, it's Mary Poppins' locket. Oh, the chain's broken.
Don't you remember? I'll stay till the chain breaks.
There's a note.
What does it say?
Michael had the telescopes, so this is for you. Look, there's a portrait of the three of us.
She signed it from Mary Poppins with a great deal of love.
Where's Mary Poppins?
She's gone.
Gone? How peculiar.
She'll be back. Now, Michael, what do you think of this?
It's the best I've ever seen.
Would you want to fly it together?
Of course.
Mary Poppins won't be coming back. She's gone forever.
My dear Jane, however could you know such a thing?
Because we don't need her, not anymore, and other families will, won't they, Daddy?
They will.
You know, George, maybe she's right. Maybe we could do without a nanny for a while. What do you think?
I think you should come dance with me.
Oh, George, this is serious.
A shooting star!
You can borrow my telescope.
A was right. Wish on it, children.
We won't forget you, Mary Poppins. We'll never forget.